for giving us a brief of what the position papers are all about and the kind of impact that they are having on the government. It is the strength of our members which makes this happen. So thanks to all of you for making this happen. So before we move ahead, we would now be giving the floor to some of the bureaucrats who are here, understanding their views about what is happening. And we will start with Pooja Kapur ji, who's the Additional Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs. So Ambassador Pooja Kapur is a distinguished diplomat and a dedicated public servant currently serving as Additional Secretary, Northern Europe in the Ministry of External Affairs. So she would have her hand on the pulse. With a career spanning nearly 3 decades, she has held key diplomatic positions including India's ambassador to Denmark, Bulgaria and North Macedonia, a scholar of Oxford and Paris École Nationale d'Administration. She is renowned for her sharp strategic insights, leadership in multilateral affairs, and commitment to fostering India's global partnerships. Her expertise in European affairs, coupled with her role in strengthening India's relations across the Indo-Pacific and beyond, makes her a vital voice in shaping India's international diplomacy. Welcome, Ms. Kapur, and the floor is yours. Can we remove one of these seats, please? Mr. Krishnan's, this thing I think can be removed.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Raman Sidhu, Chairman EBG, distinguished colleagues on the panel and beyond, esteemed members of the business community, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here with you this evening. Let me begin by complimenting the EBG Federation on the good work that they have been doing, and especially congratulating on all those recommendations actually finding their way into policy papers of the budget. And also special congratulations on the launch of this year's ideas in the 23rd annual position paper. This is the right time to speak about Europe, a continent that we all know quite well, which is also an important pole in the multilateral global order, and which, given the uncertainties and the flux in today's world, presents itself as a vital and stable partner for India going forward. Europe is the world's second largest economy, with a GDP of about 20 trillion US dollars, a population of about 750 million, and an average per capita of about 35,000 US dollars. Of course, that's a bit misleading because you have companies which are near more than $100,000 mark. Including some of the countries that I represent or in terms of interactions in Scandinavia. Well, 2 of the European countries belong to the EBG-V5, the permanent 5 of the UN Security Council. 4 of them are members of the G7, and about 30 of the 32 NATO members are from Europe. The European Union is, of course, at the core of Europe, with 27 member states, constituting a formidable trading bloc. 20 of these have adopted the euro, and we have 29 countries which form part of the Schengen area, allowing borderless travel. European companies are pioneers in strategic sectors such as nuclear, space, biotech, digital and clean technologies. They're also leaders in developing sustainable solutions in heavy industry. For India, Europe is a major partner in trade, investment, technology, and innovation. India is the fastest growing large economy, as you all know, and is increasingly perceived by Europe as a valuable partner for developing diversified and resilient supply chains, and also to help scale technologies that they produce for manufacturing and selling to the rest of the world. It is also a primary source of global talent for Europe, which is facing a workforce and skill crunch. The growing convergence in global context are leading to a much increased frequency of high-level interactions between India and Europe. So in the last 2 years, we've had at least 30 visits at the level of head of state or government. We've had 50 foreign ministerial visits and at least 100 other ministerial visits. Engagement has gone beyond the traditional West Europe to now include North, Central and Southern Europe. For the first time ever this year, we had the entire EU College of Commissioners, which is like the EU Cabinet, come here with Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. And the very high level engagement with the European Union will continue over the coming months. Economic engagement, which all of you here represent, is the mainstay of India-Europe ties. I will throw a few facts and figures at you. I personally think it always helps in setting the scene. So trade in goods is about 190 billion, out of which we export about 100 billion US dollars of exports. Trade in services is about $100 billion, in which again our exports are about $60 billion, and the balance is in our favor. But we can do a lot more. FDI in Europe is about $165 billion, while Indian FDI in Europe is increasing and it's already hovering about the $75 billion mark. We have 7,000 European companies operating in India. Many of you are members of the EBG, and we have about 1,500 Indian companies in Europe. The Indian diaspora in Europe is also becoming a force to reckon with. The numbers around 3 million now, with about 250,000 students. And this growing pool of professionals and of students is further strengthening the people-to-people and business-to-business linkages that we enjoy. The government's had a lot of focus on facilitating trade in recent times. So you have had 2 FTAs with Europe. One is with the UK, and the second is with the EFTA countries, which is Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. And we do hope that the highly anticipated India-EU FTA will be finalized over the coming months. In addition, we also have something called the Trade and Technology Council with the European Union. India is the only country other than the US which has this dialogue with the EU, which discusses things like semiconductors, quantum computing, AI, supply chains, green energy, etc. Another new aspect is connectivity. I mean, we've always been connected, but there's a renewed focus on enhancing this connectivity. And one of the key things we're looking at is something called the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, or IMEC. New areas of collaboration have opened up rapidly, and we see a lot of interest in the green transition. And having come from Denmark, which we have a green strategic partnership, I think there's something of particular interest to me personally. So areas like green hydrogen, green ammonia, green steel, green cement, green shipping, logistics, corridors, and sustainable aviation fuels are some of the areas that we can look at. Another area very important going forward is defense industrial collaboration. This is supported by the liberalization of the FDI regime in India, but also the rearming of Europe. And there are enormous opportunities to be seized in this. We have had the Tata Airways collaboration in Vadodara to manufacture the C-295 military aircraft. We have Saab coming up in Jhajjar, Haryana, to produce the Carl Gustav Mk4 weapon systems as the first fully FDI-owned production facility in defense in India. And the list will surely rapidly increase. Another thing that we notice is European tech companies increasingly basing their global capability centers out of India. So while India is open for business, we invite European companies to deepen their engagement with us. Together we can drive growth in sectors ranging from renewable energy to sustainable infrastructure to advancing, to advance manufacturing and new and cutting-edge digital technologies. And together we can co-create solutions not only for India, but for the world. India and Europe are like-minded partners with open, democratic and diverse societies. Both represent large open market economies with considerable convergences of interest. Going forward, India's expanding global footprint will intersect more and more with that of Europe. The India-Europe strategic partnership will have growing relevance and consequence, not only for our two regions, but also for the global economy. So we would all be well advised to seize this moment to strengthen our collaboration for mutual benefit by building bridges of trade, of technology, of tourism, and of talent, to ensure that the India-Europe partnership becomes a cornerstone for sustainable and inclusive growth globally. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ambassador Kapur, for giving us insights as to what is happening with the Indo-EU relationships. As we've said, the strength has always been there and probably the need now is even more. So we will see probably the two sides having more relationships as we go ahead.